The battle between the Walt Disney Company and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has eclipsed politics and is now playing out in the courts. Yesterday, Disney filed suit in federal court, arguing it's the victim of a, quote, targeted campaign of government retaliation. Disney accuses the governor and his allies overseeing the company's special taxing district of violating the company's constitutional rights. Disney says it's a victim of targeted retaliation as punishment for speaking out against DeSantis' policies. The governor says it's about accountability. Ron DeSantis, a likely 2024 presidential candidate, responded to the suit today while on a trip in Israel.
They're upset because they're actually having to live by the same rules as everybody else. They don't want to have to pay the same taxes as everybody else, and they want to be able to control things without proper oversight, whereas every other Floridian has to have this type of oversight, all Florida businesses. So it's a little bit much to be complaining about that. I don't think the suit has merit. I think it's political.
Let's break down this case with Ariane Campos Flores, who's been covering it for the Wall Street Journal. Thank you for being with us. And Disney is accusing DeSantis of orchestrating a campaign of government retaliation, of violating its protected free speech. There are, as I understand it, a number of First Amendment lawyers who say this case has real merit. Why is that?
Well, because, the argument that Disney is making is that because it exercised its free speech rights and came out against this legislation that was passed last year, the Parental Rights in Education law, which is critics have called the Don't Say Gay law, that because Disney chimed in on that, the governor and the legislature then orchestrated this campaign of retaliation against the company by, for instance, seeking to end these contracts that it had signed earlier this year, passing legislation to strip it of control of this special tax district that it had long controlled. And so it was essentially, in their view, using the machinery of the state to punish them for expressing an opinion about a piece of legislation.
You know, it would normally be an act of political malpractice for a governor to fight with the marquee corporation in his or her state, the way that Ron DeSantis has done with Disney. But when this feud started around this time last year, last spring, he was initially rewarded for it. He raised a ton of money for his reelection campaign. He won reelection in a dominant victory. And there were Disney lobbyists who ultimately co-chaired his inauguration. What changed between then and now? Did Disney just get tired of being a corporate punching bag?
I think what happened is that it has just dragged on so long, and it has also escalated. So I think Disney's initial approach to this was to stay quiet, lie low, try to work behind the scenes and get some sort of agreement resolved with the state. But what ended up happening is that that apparently got nowhere. And then things have escalated because since there was no resolution to it, Disney went ahead and tried to secure these development rights, basically, earlier this year under a previous board of this district. And then once the new board that was appointed by Governor DeSantis discovered what had happened, that really angered the governor and escalated things further to the point now where you have this, what is likely to be very drawn out litigation over who can control the development rights in this district.
This lawsuit has been assigned to a federal judge who has frequently ruled against DeSantis's conservative agenda. Tell us about this judge and what impact that might have on the case.
Yeah, well, this is Judge Mark Walker, who has, been on numerous cases that have involved policies that the DeSantis administration has supported. He has ruled against the governor on many occasions. The governor has often singled him out for criticism. And in some cases, those decisions by the lower court judge, by Judge Walker, have then been reversed or gone back in the governor's favor once they hit the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. So, I think if you're attorneys for Disney, you're probably feeling good that you've got this case assigned to Judge Walker. On the other hand, DeSantis has often, emerged with at least a partial victory later on once it goes to the appellate level.
There is reporting out today that Governor DeSantis is planning to jump into the presidential fray as early as mid-May, potentially first with an exploratory committee. He was asked about that today. Here's how he responded.
There's not been any thing set. I've been focused on this mission that we've been doing. We're going to end up making it pretty much around the world by the time we're done. And if there's any announcements, those will come at the appropriate time. But it's not, if anyone's telling you that somehow they know this or they know that, that's just inaccurate because there's not been any decisions made.
Based on your reporting, is there any reason to think that he's not running or he doesn't plan to run?
I mean, based on my colleagues' reporting, I think what they're hearing is that he very much does plan to run. Those plans have not changed. I think it's more a question of timing, and so we'll see. Clearly, this case is proven to be kind of a distraction to all that.
What will you be watching for as this case proceeds?
Well, I think there's a possibility of even more litigation because there is, apart from what the lawsuit that was filed over the board's actions, there is also a piece of legislation that's moving through the Florida legislature that would also seek to nullify these agreements that Disney struck. And if, in fact, that does pass and the governor signs it into law, then that creates yet another reason or another trigger for which Disney might sue. So you might see even more litigation on this.
Ariane Campos Flores with the Wall Street Journal, thanks so much for sharing your reporting with us.
My pleasure.